Hello friends, so today we can discuss the first three problems from the latest bi-weekly contest from LeetCode, contest 40. So in this problem we'll discuss the first three problems and I will make a separate video for the last problem. So let's start the first three problems. According to me the second problem is only good. The first and the third problem is relatively easy if you know the constraints and try to implement it in a brute force way then. So the first problem is maximizing the repeating substring. So in simple terms, I'll tell you, you are given a sequence and you are given a word AB. You can tell that the word AB is k repeating value, like the k repeating value for any word is if you repeat that word k times, and if that word appears as a substring in the sequence, then like that word is k repeating value. Then the k repeating value for that word is k, which is the number of time it is repeated. So in simple terms, if AB is there, AB can be seen as a substring in the sequence, which is fine. But sorry, but if you double it, if it becomes AB, then AB is also substring. So the answer for this is 2. So you have to find out the longest k repeating subsequence, the longest k repeating sequence of this word, which is a substring of the sequence. I hope I'll repeat it. So you have to find out the longest k repeating word of this word. If you repeat this word k times, what is the maximum k such that that word, new word, will be a substring of the sequence. And that's the whole problem. You have to find out the maximum k value, and because the constraints are very small, you can just do it in a brute force way, in which check every possible new word. The initial word is AB, let's assume. The next word is AB, and so on. So you can because you can do a string check in in the brute force way, it can be in O of mn. Okay, you can do some optimized string operations, but because the constraints are very small, you can do this. If you just do a two string comparison matching, the maximum can be done in O of m into l, and because you can check it for every possible word, so 100 to the power 3 and 10, it's O of n cube operation, and it can be simply done. So I'll take it to the code part now. So what you can do here is you can find out the new words. The new words can be, you just have to append the current word n times. The maximum can it go it to up to n times. So keep on appending like it is AB, and you will only do this OK function, which will just do a match whether this particular new word, which is repetition of this word I times, if this is a substring, you will only do this if the new word length, because there's a new word which is repetition of the original word k times, and there's a sequence. If the new word is less than, if the word which you are finding in the sequence, it should be less than or equal to the sequence length, obviously. If it's greater than, how we can find it as a substring of the sequence? If it is less than in the sequence, then what we'll do, we will check that whether this new word is a substring of sequence. If it is true, then the answer is just I plus 1. I is 0, then because I've done it one appending, so I plus 1. Okay, and you just have to maximize this. If this value exceeds, then you just break out of this for loop, because there is no need to further checking. And the answer is maximum. You can also just make max equal to I plus 1, because for every new we have to increment it, and this OK function is just checking it out in O of mn operation. What we are just doing, for every position in the sequence, start matching it with the word. It's just simply if this is the sequence and this is the word, so first match it with the first position, then let's assume that this is the first character A, so match it with all the first characters. If it is matching, then fine. Then if it match at any position, then the answer is true. If it doesn't match, try with the next position, try starting with the next position, then try starting the third position, and so on. So for every position you will try to match it with the whole string. So that's why for every length of if the length of sequence is O, m, n, and the length of the sequence of the word is m, so for every n you have to match with n, m, so n into m operations. But it can be done, and that's the whole trick. You can watch the code in the description, so it will be helpful, and it's just a simple logic of matching. So it doesn't require any important logics. So it's just brute force. The second problem is like quite nice. I will discuss in the last. We'll discuss the third problem first, in which you have to design a like a queue, which is like a type of you can insert at the front, back, or middle. So what the problem statement states that you have to like somehow design a queue in which you can which supports the following operation, in which you can do a push or a pop, because in a queue you can do a push and pop, but you can do it in the front, back, and middle as well. So these are the 6 functions, and you have to implement all of them. The main thing in this problem is the constraints. Even though the value is 10⁹, but you can do at most 1000 calls. So for all the functions you can just do 1000 calls, and because it means that if you do 1000 calls, you can do this whole process in O of n square also. You can do an n square operation also. Okay. Also, I hope you know about a data structure called DQ. In Q, what is the property of Q? Or like in a stack, if there is a stack, it is like closed at one end. There's only insertion. So if the first one in is the last one out. But in a queue, what it does is, if you keep on inserting in a queue, the first one in is the first one out. So as you can see, if I insert this one first, then the second 2 insert, then 3 insert, 4 insert. So if you insert at this point, then the out the exit of this is from this side. So if one is inserted first, then it will be exited out first only. But there is no insertion from the back. This is only insertion from this point and exiting at this point. But there's a data structure called DQ, in which there is an insertion at both the points, and you can also delete it out or pop it out from both the ends. So what does this help? If you want to insert some elements from the start, you can insert it 1, 2, and you can also insert it from the back. Let's assume that 3 you have inserted like this, and then inserted 4. And then if you want to pop it out, then it is also like done in O of 1 operation. So the insertion at the front and the back, and the popping out from the front and back, it can be done in O of 1, so which is fine. But you have to also insert in the middle. And because you can do this in O of n square operation, it's just simple to pop it out all the elements from the top, then insert that element in the middle. If there is a middle operation, like you have to insert it out. So because there are at most n elements, and because you have to just go to the middle element, you don't have to iterate over all of the n elements in the list. You just have to go to the middle, so it's n by 2. But because the complexity of n by 2 is only n only, but it is not exactly n. So if there are like 1000 insertion, if there are 1000 elements, then you have to go to the 500th element, pop out 500 elements from the list, then insert the element in the middle, and then again push back all the elements. So it's like this. You have some DQ, you have some list, and you have to insert some element in the middle. There are some elements like this. So keep on popping out this element from here, like store it in some other way. I have stored it in the stack, and then insert that element in the middle, and then keep on again appending this element at the start, so that this element get in the middle. Same if you want to take this element out from the middle, just take out all the elements from the top, take out the middle element, and push back. And it's just a simple brute force here, nothing very. You just have to know the data structure DQ, and I'm just manipulated one small thing in DQ, and that's it. So it's not a very much difficult problem to understand. So that's the DQ. And if you have to put some element in the front, then there's a standard functions. For DQ, push front, and for back it's push back. And if you want to pop it out, then if you want to pop from the front, so if the DQ is empty, then the answer is -1. Else pop it from the front, so take out the element from the front and pop it out, pop front. And same for the back, take out from the back and pop back. The trick or the main crux lies in the push middle and the push front, like pop front. So in the push middle, what you'll have to do, you have to pop out elements to the middle. So because you have to find out the size of the DQ, then n is equal to n divided by 2, because you have to go to the middle. Then I have keep a stack, so pop out from the DQ, keep popping out the elements till this n, because this is the middle element. If you have taken out half of the elements and stored in the stack, then because you have now half elements in the DQ, just push back the middle element of this value in the DQ, and now again take out all the elements which you have stored in the stack, put them in front or in the top of the DQ, because such that the element get inserted in the middle. And that's what we have done. And same, you have to do this reciprocal in the, if you want to pop out the middle, take out the top elements, like n by 2 elements, and then store it somewhere else. And then after storing it out, pop out the, like the value of the middle element, and then again put all the elements in the stack to the, onto the dequeue. And that's the whole logic for the third problem. The second problem is, I think so, like a relatively good problem between these two problems, in which you have to perform the merge in between linked lists. So the problem statement states that you are given two linked lists, like list 1 and list 2 of length n and m, and you have to remove list 1 nodes from the 8th node to the bth node. What does this mean? Like, as you can see, this is the list 1. There are some nodes starting from 0th indexing, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and then a minus 1, and then a. So from 8th node to till the bth node, you have to remove all the elements from this list. And then after removing out, what you have to do, you have to place this list 2 in this position. So like you have to remove out these elements from this list, and then this list 2 should be inserted in that place between this position, and then you have to return out the new linked list. Okay, try not to do this in using an array, because that's not allowed even in interviews. If you solve this problem, it's not that you just store out all the elements in the array in the list 1 and list 2, then like just make a new like linked list using the removing all the elements from a, b, and like merging it out and doing something else. But that's not allowed. You have to do this in a linked list way manner. So you have to use pointers in this. So the technique I use is in this problem is, in always linked list problem, try to think in pointers, and also try to think like how to use pointers in a simple way, because the linked list problems are not too hard. You just have to think how to use pointers in your way. So like this is the linked list in which this is L1, and this is some linked list L2. Let's assume that this is the linked list L2. So let's assume that you have to like delete this part, and you have to take this and insert it. So it will become like this. So because you have to delete this part, this next pointer will point to this, and this next pointer will point to this, so that this is the new link, like this is the new list. This part has been removed. Okay, so now what you can do, because obviously now you can, like you can see that easily, that if you want to make this list, you have, and you know that this is the eighth node, this is the bth node, you have to find out the previous node to a, and you have to find out the bth node address. So you have to find out which addresses. Addresses means, like, because pointer means you have to find out addresses, because you have to manipulate with addresses only. This node has some address, this next node has some address. So if you know the address of the previous node of A, first thing, if you know the address of B, second thing, if you know the initial address of this like L2 list, which I already know in the question, but you also have to know the last node address of the list 2. So now if you know all of these 4 addresses, then what you can do, you can just take out the previous node address before A, like point the next of it to this L2, and then take out the last address of L2 and point it to the next of B. Okay, and then it's done. So then it's just a simple problem, but you have to just find out those 4 addresses, and how you'll find out, that's the main problem, or like the main, like the crux of this problem, how to find out the problem. So what you can do, just take out, for finding out the end pointer of this list node, what you can do, just take one like current pointer to the list node. So for finding out the length, obviously if you find out the length of a linked list, how you can find out, just take out some like dummy pointer pointing at the start node of this list, and keep on iterating it to the end, such that the last node will point to null of any list if the next pointer of this is null. So let's assume that you will only move this dummy pointer, you will initialize a dummy pointer to the start of this L2, and keep on moving it such that the next of this is existing. If the next of this current node is not existing, which means that we are on the last node. So because we are, like, let's assume we start at this point, the next of this node is existing, it means there is a node, so go to this node. Now I am this node, the next of this node is not existing, so it means that I am on the last node. So store this address, that's it. So you know the address of this, you know the address of this, the starting node, the ending node of this list, cool. Same you can do for this node. For this node, because you have to store the current address and the previous address, you have to take 2 pointers, previous and current. Now move both of them simultaneously, and also you can make a counter variable cc which store what is the current ith element is. So which stores that this is the first element, second element, third element. The current element is on the 0th element, so this is 0. Then if you move both of these pointers, this is previous, this is current. Now move this current to this point and previous to this point. Just move both of them simultaneously. Whenever my current is at A, so because I moved my current and previous 1 point, I will increase this by 1. Because it is on the 1th, this is the first indexed, because this is 0 index, the index is from 0, so this is first index. So because on the first index, my previous will be on A minus 1th node, so I can store the address of this easily somewhere else. Now I can again do this, keep on doing this. This is my next, this is my previous. Now again this is my next, this is my previous. Now whenever my next or like the current element I'm on becomes B, then this is the current address I want for B. So then store it somewhere else. And that's how you can store the address for like both the previous of A, B, starting of this node L2, see like this L2 linked list starting address and the last address. And then you just have to do these connections. And that's the logic for this problem. I'll take down to the code part now. Okay, yes, this is the code. It's a little messy, I'll tell you. So you have to first store a copy pointer, because you are like changing this list 1 and list 2, which are the head pointers of these both lists. And in the end you have to return out the list 1 pointer, so you have to make a copy such that you don't lose track of the pointer. So it's always beneficial to make a copy pointer. Then if there is no list 1 is empty, like there is no node, like this is not a case, but I have also done this. If there is no node, then the answer is like obviously like there is no answer. Like you just have to return on a null node, null linked list. Else, if there is only one node, so you have to remove it out. So the answer is just list 2 node. It's just base condition. You don't have to require it out, but I've just written out. So next thing is you have to, for iterating over, you have to now iterate over B, the list B, and the list A. So for list B, I have made a list pointer last of B to store out the last index or last address for list B. So you will just keep on iterating over B such that the next of B is not null, which means that if it is not null, I will keep on jump to the next pointer. If it is null, then I am on the last address, so store it, which is stored in last of B. And we'll do the same for iterating over A. So for A, we have to store the previous of A and the current of B. Okay, so we'll iterate using this previous and current, but we will store it out in these addresses, previous of A and current of B. So we will increment our CC, which will help us to know at which index we are. Okay, and then whenever my C becomes equal to A, whenever my count becomes equal to A, that I am on the 8th index, we have to store the previous of A. Okay, so the previous of A we have to store, which is like stored in previous, because I'm iterating over using this previous and current. And whenever my C count become equal to A, I will store the previous in previous of A, which is I've got. And whenever my C becomes equal to B, so I will store that index on the current of B. And then in the end we just do these two connections, and in the end we just return out this copy pointer. I hope you understand the logic for all the 3 problems. If you still having doubts, you can mention down in the comment box, or you can ping me on my Telegram channel. I'll see you in the next one. Keep coding. Bye.